Hi dear students, in this video we are going to discuss about bryophytes. So what are the characteristics of bryophytes? So bryophytes shows body differentiation. That means here somewhat stem-like structures and leaf-like structures can be seen in the case of bryophytes. Okay, and we know that they are the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why amphibians? Because they are seen both on land as well as on the water. So why it is known as amphibian of the plant kingdom? One more reason is there. So they can live in the soil, okay, but for sexual reproduction to take place, they need water. Okay, and you all might have seen these type of bryophytes, especially nowadays during the rainy seasons, right? On the rocks or on the walls or on the trees, the patches of these bryophytes growing. So they occur in damp, humid and shaded places. They need a moist region for growth. And the body of these type of bryophytes, they are differentiated, more differentiated compared to algae, right? And here the thallus like structure and prostrate, here you can see they are erect and attached to the substratum by a unicellular or multicellular rhizoid. Actually this is not the roots, okay? So these unicellular multicellular rhizoids, they are known as rhizoid. So these areas are being used for them to attach to the surfaces, okay? So the rhizoids are helping them to get attached to the surfaces or the substrate, and they lack true roots. Actually this is not the proper roots or true leaves or true stem, okay? And the plant body is haploid and it can produce gametes, hence it is known as gametophyte. So this term you have to keep in your mind. The plant body which can produce gametes, they are known as gametophyte. And here is an example of Mercantia, a liverwort, okay, a bryophyte. So here the sex organ, the male sex organ, it is known as antheridium. This you have to keep in your mind. Antheridium, male sex organ. And the female sex organ is known as archegonium. It is known as archegonium, which produces the egg, and antheridium, which produces the biflagellate anthrozoid, that is the sperm, okay? So here you can see the picture of Mercantia plant, and here you can see a umbrella like structure. Yes, this is the archegonium, that is the female gametophyte, with you can see the magnified picture of the same with egg here, right? And this is the male gametophyte, that is the antheridium with sperm, okay? And this is the same picture of the female thallus. That is the thallus means a leaf-like structure, okay? And the male thallus of Mercantia itself, the same plant, and it looks like the female and male part. It looks like an umbrella shape. You can see here. This is the archegonium, the female part, okay? Then the anthrozoids. These anthrozoids, that is the sperms, are released to the water. Then they will meet the archegonium, that is the female egg, and they will fuses, and you know after fusion of male and female gametes, it results in the formation of zygote. So what happens after the zygote? So generally after the zygote, it will undergo division and it will give rise to the next level, right? Here what happens means, here you can see this is the female gametophyte, it is the male gametophyte. This is the antheridium, which will give rise to sperm. This is the archegonium, which will give rise to the egg. So after fusion of male and female, it will give rise to zygote. So directly from there, it will not develop into a new one. What happens means, they will form a sporophyte. The zygote will form after fusion of male and female gametes. They will form the zygote. After formation of the zygote, they will not undergo directly the cell division or the meiosis. They produces a multicellular body or the structure which is known as sporophyte. This is the sporophyte. This you have to keep in your mind. Okay, sporophyte. So what is sporophyte? Which produces spores. Gametophytes are the which can produce gametes, and sporophytes which can produce spores, okay? So they produce, the zygote will convert into a multicellular body known as sporophyte. So this sporophyte, it's not free living, it is growing by attaching to the gametophyte. So whatever nutrition or whatever they need for their growth will be taking it from the gametophyte. Okay, and this sporophyte undergo meiosis and they produces what? Spores. Here you can see they produces the spores, and spores will be released, and from the spore rhizoid will be growing, then the leaf-like structure, that is the new plants will be, that is gametophyte, the plant which can produce the gametes, that is the baby plant which will be coming out from that spore. Okay. And what are the importance of bryophytes? So some mosses is being used as food for other animals and mammals and birds. Okay, and species of sphagnum, here you can see sphagnum peat. So it is used as fuel and it has a high water holding capacity also, and also it is been used as a packing material. That means if the crockery items and all which is a chance of breaking for transporting, if it is been packed as such, there is a chance of breaking. So to prevent breaking in between, and all these type of bryophytes can be filled so that the breakage can be avoided. Then it is an ecologically important because these type of mosses or the plants bryophytes will be growing on the rocks, and it will make the that is particular rocky area suitable for the higher plants also to grow, because these mosses and along with lichens also. Lichens means a combination of algae and fungi, right? So these will decompose that area in the rocks and they will make that place suitable for the higher plants also to grow. And they also, as these type of bryophytes, they are attached to the soil, they can prevent soil erosion because they hold the soil. Okay, so these are some of the importance of bryophytes. So you can note it down. That means they are the sources of food for other animals. Yes, and they helps in the rock decomposition, and they making the substratum, that is the surface suitable for the higher plants to grow, and they prevent soil erosion. That means they will hold the soil. Then packing material, they can be used as packing material also. These are the importance of bryophytes. Then the types of bryophytes, we are going to discuss about liverworts and mosses. So these liverworts, first we will discuss about liverworts. So they are usually seen in moist, shady habitats, so such as banks of trees, marshy ground, damp soil, and the bark of the trees, deep woods, etc. Generally these type of bryophytes will be seen in these areas only. And their bodies are thalloid in the case of Mercantia. That means the base or the leaf-like structures. Yeah, that is thallus. And they are very much attached, or they are dorso-ventrally closely pressed to the substratum. Means what? They are not a tall plants, and they will be more attached to the surfaces or the substratum. And leafy-like structures will be attached to the stem. Then what type of reproduction is seen in liverworts? So asexual reproduction is by fragmentation of thalli. That means this is the thallus region or the thallus. So if this thallus get break into pieces, so wherever it falls, it will give rise to a new one, that is by fragmentation, and or by formation of gemme. What is gemme? Here you can see a cup-like structure arisen from the thallus, right? So these are gemme, are the green multicellular asexual buds that develop in a small receptacles. Yeah. Then on this thallus, that means we have discussed about the hydra and all budding in hydra, right? So there arises a bud-like structures which grow, develops and acquire the size of, the shape of the parent, which will get detached from that parent. The same way here also a gemme, a cup-like structures will be arising, which will be get detached from the parent body, and they will become a new individual. Then about the sexual reproduction, how the sexual reproduction takes place in the case of liverworts. So this already we have discussed before. So this is the female plant and this is the male plant. So male and female sex organs are produced on the same or different thalli. That means it can be seen on the same plant or on the different plants. Okay. So we already know that the female part or the female gametophyte. So gametophyte means the plant which can produce gametes. Here this is the female gametophyte, this is the male gametophyte. So here it is the antheridium, that is the male gametes, that is the sperm. Here it is the archegonium, that is the egg, which will release egg. Okay, so we already discussed this will fuse, sperm will fuse with egg and it will result in the formation of zygote. So zygote will not undergo meiosis directly, they form a structure multicellular body which is known as sporophyte. Sporophytes are those which can give rise to spores, right? So after meiosis, spores are produced. So here the structure of sporophyte, this is the sporophyte. Okay, so it consists of a foot-like structure and a seta. This region is known as seta, and this is the capsule. This is the capsule. So where the spores are produced? Inside the capsule. Okay, so after meiosis, after the sporophytes, after meiosis, they produce the spores. Where the spores are produced? In the capsule. Here you can see this get break off and the spores start coming out. So these spores germinate to form free living gametophyte again. That means a new plant which can again form the gametes. So like that the cycle continues. Then we will discuss about the mosses. So mosses is another type of bryophytes. Here the predominant of a moss is gametophyte. So what does it mean? Predominant stage of life cycle. That means, see, in a plant which can give rise to gametes is known as gametophyte, right? So that stage, we know that different stages of life will be there even in the case of human beings, right? Yeah. So which is the longest period of stages of life? So that is known as the predominant stage. So in the case of mosses, it is the gametophyte, because when after releasing this sperm, then the egg and all, after fusion, then formation of sporophyte, that and all takes place in a very short period of time. The most of the time the plant will be in the form of gametophyte. That means a normal plant which can give rise to gametes. So the predominant stage of life cycle of mosses, the predominant stage is what? It is gametophyte. Most of the time the plant will be gametophyte. Then it consists of two stages. First stage is protonema stage and second stage is leafy stage. This we will discuss. So what is protonema stage? So we know that male gamete, female gamete, egg and sperm fuse, they will form the zygote. Then a structure known as sporophytes are formed. Then they will release the spores. So the first stage that it develops, what is protonema stage means? It develops directly from the spore. Okay, it is a creepy, green, branched and frequently filamentous like structure you can see here. What is the leafy stage? It develops from the secondary protonema. After this stage, the secondary, they develop after the primary protonema stage, they develop a leafy like structure. That is it develops from a protonema, a secondary protonema as a lateral bud-like structure. It consists of upright, slender, bearing spirally arranged leaf. So they are attached to the soil through multicellular branched rhizoids. Here you can see the rhizoid. That means the new plant which is coming from that. Okay. Then reproduction, vegetative reproduction, it is by fragmentation and budding and the secondary protonema. So we already know what is fragmentation and budding. Then what is asexual reproduction? Here also we know that the male part is known as antheridium and the female part is known as archegonium or archegonia, are produced at the apex of leafy shoots. Yes, they are produced, and after fertilization, that means after fusion of this male and female sperm and egg, it gives rise to zygote, and zygote will not undergo directly meiosis. They will develop a structure which is known as, yes, sporophyte. And what are the different parts of sporophyte? The base part, the top, that is the foot region, then seta and capsule. In the capsule, what is being formed? The spores are formed. So sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than the liverworts, and the capsule contains what? Spores, we know that, and spores are formed after meiosis. Here you can see the examples of mosses: Finaria, Sphagnum and Polytrichum. So these are some of the examples of mosses. So this is all about the bryophytes and the types of bryophytes. Thank you.